Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wealth Warriors. This is a brief overview, a very brief overview of what we're doing with Wealth Warriors. What I would suggest is watch it all the way through, pay attention, write some notes, because it's very, very different from anything you've seen before. I had to see this many, many times before I eventually understood exactly what I created. Okay, so it wasn't created in 5 seconds, and you won't understand it the first 2 or 3 times you look at it. But keep looking at it, keep on trying to understand it, and eventually you'll realize that yes, it can get this good. This is the future of online businesses. It's not platform dependent. It's community centric. Okay, so the community is permanent. The platforms come and go. Don't worry about the platforms. There'll be some here now, and they'll be gone tomorrow. There'll be some other ones tomorrow. We'll make some money in some. We'll lose some money in some. But the majority of the time, we will make money. We will create a permanent wealth and a permanent network of people by following the principles of Wealth Warriors. That's my promise to you, is that if you follow the principles, you will reap the concrete benefits, and I will show you the benefits in a few seconds. Now, I like this tagline, Financial Freedom Fighters, because that's how I see us. I see us as the small band of rebels fighting against the dictators of the world, fighting against the fascists of the world, people that got there before us. They set out their stall. They set up the game. They set up the rules of the game so that you and I stand absolutely no chance of making money online. It doesn't matter how many internets there are. It doesn't matter how many cryptocurrencies there are. It doesn't matter how many of these revolutions there are. From the industrial revolution through the computer revolution, the communication revolution, the internet revolution, cryptocurrency revolution. It doesn't matter how many times we have these revolutions. The people that got there before us will always write the rules to suit themselves. And what I'm talking about here is that we live in an age of prosperity that the world has looked forward to for thousands and thousands of years. We've been working towards, your ancestors have been working towards for thousands of years, where we don't have to go out and hunt for food and a chance getting mauled by a tiger. We don't have to go through periods of starvation and deprivation, boom and bust times. Yet still they happen. Still, you and I find it very, very difficult in the richest era in the world. There's more wealth available on the planet now than there's ever been, and you and I can't make money online in with cryptocurrency or with gold, precious metals, whatever. Okay, so why? It's not an accident. It can't possibly be an accident. It's a conspiracy. There are people out there, the people that got there before us, the financial elite, the political cabals, the people at the top of the power chain, the people who think they know better than us, have an interest in making sure that they get the money and that we don't. And if I've got time, I'll go through some of the ways they do this, but certainly through online businesses, it's this boom and bust cycle of scams and legitimate business being closed down by governments and so on. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a few seconds. But you and I should at least be able to make enough money to live in the modern world from what's available online. Like I said, there's more and more wealth available now. Every year, there's more wealth available than the year before. Okay, it's not a zero-sum game. Don't let people tell you that if you have wealth is not a zero-sum game. Don't let people tell you that just because you are making money, somebody else is losing money. That's not true. Wealth is created, and there's very, very strict rules about how to create wealth. But suffice to say, there is more wealth available on the planet now than there was last year. But what you'll notice is it's not being shared out equally, and there are people who have plans to make sure that that remains the case. Okay, so what this means then, you and I can't play by their rules. If we play by their rules, we will fail. What we need to do is to invent our own rules. We need to create our own set of rules and play by them. And that's exactly what Wealth Warriors is. It might look initially like it's something just a little bit cookie, a little bit slightly different from what you've seen before, but it's not. It's so vastly different because we have taken what's available and figured out our own set of rules to make our own wealth, our own personal lifetime wealth, but also our own generational wealth that we can pass on to our children. Okay, and there's nothing anybody can do about it because we invented these rules and we're going to play by these rules, and so we are in control of our own personal wealth. Nobody else. We're not at the whim of some some CEO of some company somewhere, some chairman of some board somewhere who decides that he wants to change the rules so that our businesses fail. Okay, that's not what we're doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through this very brief presentation, because there's everything that we need to look at in this presentation. By the end of it, you will have a better understanding than you have now, but don't worry if you don't understand it fully. If you don't get excited about this and think it's the best thing you've ever seen, I suspect, and there's maybe just my hubris talking, but I suspect you don't understand it yet. So think about it, watch it again tomorrow, think about it some more, watch it again tomorrow. Come on one of my presentations, join in with our Wealth Warriors Telegram groups, and talk to other wealth warriors, because when you understand this, you'll realize you're in control. And that's it, you're in control. That's what Wealth Warriors gives you, is the ability to take charge for yourself. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is a disclaimer. Nothing in this presentation is to be taken as financial or investment advice. Wealth Warriors is not an investment platform. It is a community. It's free to join. You can come and you can go. It doesn't matter. Nobody's keeping track of you. Nobody makes any money from you joining. Okay, but what I won't do is just share the knowledge and information of Wealth Warriors with anybody else who can then take it away and change it, pretend to be us. Okay, so if somebody wants to be in Wealth Warriors, great. If they want to be out of Wealth Warriors, great. But I won't be sharing this with people until they are committed to Wealth Warriors. If you do decide to invest in any of the platforms discussed in this presentation, only use money that you can comfortably afford to lose, and carry out your own due diligence. I spend a lot of time carrying out due diligence. Okay, and I don't want to get involved in platforms that are going to fail. I have done in the past, and I deeply, deeply regret it. That's not the issue. The issue is I don't have time to get involved in platforms that fail. I'm looking for platforms that are going to work and fit with our portfolio. So I want you to carry out your own due diligence. Have a strategy. This is an important point. Have a strategy to recoup all your initial investment as soon as possible, and create a large income over time by withdrawing a percentage of the profits. Once you've taken out your initial stake money, you're playing with free money. You can't possibly lose if you are only playing with free money. Yes, you can put some time and effort in, and the company, something happens to the company, and we'll look at that in a few seconds, and you lose that asset you've built up, but that's not real money. The only real money involved in any of these online businesses is what you take out and put in your pocket. But you put into your into your wallet, that's real money all the time. And even then, only if you put it into your own private wallet. If you put it into an exchange somewhere, it's still not your money. It belongs to the exchange. Okay, so always have a private wallet, have an Exodus wallet, a Trust wallet, have a Trezor device, have a Ledger device. Okay, put your money there and keep it safe. It's your money. Don't trust anybody else with your money. So what's the problem with online businesses? And this is the point I wanted to get to. There are just too many scams out there. And that's absolutely true. There are too many scams out there. Not every business is a scam. But the scammers are very, very clever. And in fact, I've noticed just over the last few weeks, there's a particular type of website that's being made from a template. And that template is very, very clever. It allows the people who want to perpetrate these scams to take their template and change it just enough so that it doesn't look like any of the other websites taken from that template. But they're all the same. There are certain, if you look at enough of them, you'll see there are certain similarities, and that these scam websites are very, very prolific. There are hundreds, if not thousands of them out there, and everybody, people like you and I, are running around saying, oh, this is a legitimate business, this isn't a scam, come and join me. They've been in the business 5 minutes, the company's paid them out twice, okay, and they're telling everybody this is the most wonderful business ever. No, it isn't. It's not going to stand the test of time. I recognize these businesses now built from that template that are, it's a dynamic template. So like I said, they all look different. But these scammers are very, very sophisticated. I've been scammed by some people who set up initially just to scam everybody, and they set up such a good operation that thousands and thousands of people fell for it. Okay, so there are just too many scams out there. It's hard to find good businesses. Those businesses aren't scams, are so poorly run they go bust. And I see this as well. What I look for when I carry out due diligence isn't the platform. It isn't whether I can deposit and withdraw. Okay, I do look for certain things on a website that would indicate that it's being organised by a legitimate company. But what I like to look at is the company behind the website, the company behind the platform, because I expect to see a company that's set up with proper capital, with properly trained people, with a number of key staff, with enough finances, with enough contacts, with the proper registrations, with the proper insurances. Okay, and these are all tips and hints to do due diligence. You can check somebody's web address. So you can check somebody's address. And on Google Street Maps now, you can actually go and have a look at the property itself to see if it's a suitable property for a multi-million dollar investment program company. Okay, very often you'll see it isn't. It's somebody's second floor flat above a pub, or that sort of thing, and you see it all the time if you just take the time to look at it. Another thing to look out for is when these companies put the pictures of their founder, their CEO, their chief technical officer, and so on. They put those up on the website, and when you check them with Google, you find out that those are actually stock images. They've been used to sell everything from shampoo to timeshare holidays in Tenerife. Okay, so beware of things like that. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that those things are scam websites. But some of them are not scams. They're just run so poorly they go bust. I've been approached by owners of some of these businesses. And if I were to mention the names of some of these businesses in 2023 that turned up and disappeared, again, you would know who I'm talking about. Some of you invested in them, and it's somebody who they're a good CEO, they're an honest CEO, they've got a great idea for a platform. They get some coders together and develop a platform. They've got $15 million of their own money they've been able to scrape together from investors or whatever. Okay, and they think that's enough. And they start paying money out, receiving money in and paying money out. And I've seen this several times where the business model hasn't been thought through properly, and all of a sudden the big networkers, the big sharks, the big whales, they come in, they deposit $1,000, and they start taking out $20,000 a day, $50,000 a week, $100,000 a month. Okay, but all they put in initially is $1,000. Okay, now it wasn't set up originally as a Ponzi scheme, but the networkers, the giant networkers, the big whales, have turned it into a Ponzi scheme, because the only way you can pay out that much money to somebody who's only started with $1,000 is for them to recruit more people, and that recruitment money then flows to the upline affiliates. Okay, so it didn't start out as a Ponzi scheme, but it ended up as one, partly through our own fault, through the affiliate team. Okay, so you want to look out for a business that pays you something in commissions, but most of your money wants to be made from the business operation itself, the trading they're doing, the selling they're doing, the teaching and courses they're selling, and so on. Okay, so that's one of the keys. And I've seen businesses that are that were set up like this, and the owners have come to me and said, we want to, the businesses, we've had to take the website down. We can't allow any more withdrawals. Can you help us get this back up and running? And when I tell them all the things they've got to do, right from having a proper management team, having proper company infrastructure, proper premises, insurances, registrations, training, etc., ad infinitum, invariably they say, that's not what I want to do at all. I just wanted to run a platform, help some people make some money myself. But they're not able to do that because it's got to be set up properly. Okay, so some businesses aren't scams, but they've been run so poorly they go bust. Those businesses that aren't scams and don't go bust get shut down by regulators and government departments. Now, I was talking just now about forces amassed against us to make sure that you and I don't make money online. Our governments are a prime example of that. The governments are set up not by, as you would think, by the people. Our governments are set up by the financial elite, the World Economic Forum, the big financial families, the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, and the Rockefellers, and so on. Okay, they're the ones who decide, because even if one particular politician gets in over another one, the policies put forward by those financial elite are the ones that get followed, regardless of who actually is in the political power to follow them. Okay, this is where some people refer to it as a one-party state. Even if you've got, as you have in the UK, you've got hundreds of different parties to choose from, or certainly dozens. Okay, we still end up with the same policies and the same financial situation where all the money flows to the financial elite. Very little of it flows back to us. Okay, now you can always tell if the regulators are doing this or whether they really are there to protect the investors. Just consider this for yourself. If you know anybody who's ever been involved in a scam where the regulator stepped in and shut that business down to protect the investors, how much money did those investors get back from the regulators once they shut that business down? I don't know you, I don't know your circumstances, but I will bet the answer is pretty much zero, because the regulators aren't interested in protecting the investors at all. If it's a proper business, they don't want you and I making money at it, and so they shut it down. Okay, so that's the problem with online businesses. What can we do about it? Individually, we're doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past. Because we don't know any better, you can't solve the problem with the mindset that created the problem in the first place. You've got to be able to think these things through, think outside the box, come up with other solutions. Okay, but it's hard to do that individually. We need a brain. What's the word? We need a mastermind group. Okay, and that's what I've employed. I've employed the mastermind principle to look at where we are, where we want to go, what we can do about it, how we can get there. Okay, so individually we're doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past because none of us is as smart as all of us. We need to employ the brain power of other people, which we've done. But also consider this: if you have one pencil and I ask you to snap it, you can snap that quite easily. Most people can snap one pencil. If I give you 5 or 6 pencils and I ask you to snap them, a reasonably strong person can snap 5 or 6 pencils. But if I give you 20 pencils, I bet there aren't that many people on planet Earth that can snap 20 pencils or 30 pencils or 40 pencils. Eventually, we'll get to the point where nobody can actually snap that many pencils. So together, we are stronger. Together, we can achieve more than we can individually. So that's why we have a community called Wealth Warriors. Collectively, we can help most of us avoid the pitfalls of the industry. Now, people misunderstood this when I first said it. I actually, if I think there's a platform worth our time and effort to get involved with, I get involved first because I can't investigate behind the veil until I've gone behind the veil. So I put some money in myself. Sometimes it's a few $100s, sometimes a few $1,000s. And I have businesses where I put thousands of dollars in. I bought fancy watches, to monitor my health, and I've bought gizmos and gadgets so that I can be part of that community, so as I can continue to evaluate it. And then I realize that it's not suitable for what we want. And so the first thing that we do is I join a platform. And then what I would do is I would ask a few people in my mastermind group to join the platform as well. And then I'll slowly trickle it out to a few other people. And if that starts to work, then I'll release it for the general adoption of Wealth Warriors. Okay, because most scams you can identify within the first few days. There are a few, I call them time bombs. There are a few companies who chuck some time bombs in the water further upstream, and it might take a few weeks or a few months for those time bombs to slowly make their way downstream to where you are, and then they blow up in your face. And so the last time this happened, we had about 50 people in a particular platform, and then it all blew up, and all of a sudden nobody could get their money back. And so about 30 or 40 people lost a few $100s. Now that's not ideal. I'd rather nobody lost any money, but in that case a few hundred people did. But it meant that thousands of people didn't lose a lot of money. Okay, so collectively we can help most of us avoid the pitfalls of the industry. We can't always do it, but we can, when we can't do it fully, we can very often just minimize it. Who would want to be the first one to cross the minefield? Or would you rather follow someone who's already crossed the minefield before? We're safer together, and with safety, and this is something you may not realize initially, when you're in a platform that is safe to grow, then what you get with that is time. Or when you're in a community rather, where it's safe to put some money into something and nurture it, then you have the time to allow these businesses to grow. If you go for something that's 10% a day, or even 2% a day, 5% a month or whatever, just sorry, 15-20% a month. It's just silly numbers. Nobody can possibly sustain that amount of return. But if you're getting a reasonable return, and you're sure that they're or we've checked that they're actually doing what they say they're doing, they're trading or they're arbitrage or they're selling or whatever it is they're doing in the real world, okay, even though we're only getting back 0.5% a day or 0.75% a day, you can build on that because you have time. Time is what we need. That's the key ingredient to making money online. Start with something small, compound it to make it larger and larger and larger over time. So that's the whole plan for Wealth Warriors. And that gives us some really concrete benefits. There are 3 absolutely upfront concrete benefits you will not get anywhere else. And I'm just about to cover them now. Benefit number 1 is when something does happen to a platform, it never resets your growing finances to zero. This gives you time to develop a long-term approach to building the product side, the passive side of your business. I'll give you an example of that happened very recently. We were working with a company called Tower Staking, and it was one of 3 platforms that we had on the go, and they failed. So we'd had some money out, and people have put some money in. Okay, in net terms, I think they got away with quite a lot of money collectively, but nobody in my group should have lost more than the minimum amount of payment, because our suggestion is put the minimum amount in, recoup that as soon as you can, and then use the free money that you're left with to build to create an asset that's going to produce an income for you. Okay, so anybody who did that would have only ever lost the minimum amount, and most people would have lost less than the minimum amount because they'd have taken some of their money back out. Okay, but when that did go bust, then nobody's income got reset to zero because we have 2 other platforms on the go. We'll look at that in a few seconds. Benefit number 2. Introduce your friends and family to a system knowing they'll make money from the system, and you'll never have to feel guilt. That's the worst thing, is the guilt of letting people down and losing the money. I know so many people who, when they first saw network marketing, they were so excited. This is the answer to all their prayers and the prayers of all their loved ones. And then they got hit the very first time, and their friends, neighbors, and relatives said, that was a bad move. I've lost all this money. What are you going to do about it? And of course, the guilt set in. And so any other opportunities they got in, they didn't bother inviting anybody else. I want to reverse that. These types of businesses are, they are the answer to the prayers of the people you know. We just need to be sensible. Don't follow their rules. Follow our own rules. And you'll see that over a period of time, you can bring your friends, neighbors, relatives back to the party simply because you know they're not going to lose all their money, okay, and that they can introduce their friends knowing that their friends are not going to lose all their money either. Here's another interesting benefit, is that you start every new platform. So what that means, benefit 2, I didn't point out, is that means you can build up a permanent network of people who are with you in all the platforms through thick and thin. Okay, so you don't reset your the size of your group doesn't reset to zero just because one platform fails. Benefit 3, start every new platform with an existing community so that you never start a new platform from zero. That means you can build on your team building success over a long period of time. It's worth taking time then to invest in relationships with those people, and help them succeed, help them understand the businesses, because a lot of the time we hold back a little bit because if that platform fails, as it has for me many times, okay, the time and money and effort that I put into helping those people have gone. And that's not only happened in online businesses, it's happened in offline businesses as well, and not only multi-level marketing businesses, it's happened in other businesses that I've run. I've run consultancy businesses, I've run security businesses, and when that's gone, all the time and money and effort that you invest or invested into your staff has gone. Okay, so it's not just this type of business, but we can mitigate against that. So that's 3 real concrete benefits. The fourth benefit is that we only get involved with good solid platforms. Some of us will lose a little bit of money once in a while, but mostly the platforms we introduce will be good solid platforms that have longevity, profitability, and reliability. Benefit 5, I can teach you strategies to multiply your income above and beyond what the platform teaches us or what the platform provides for us. Sometimes it's not easy to see if you just take what the company give you, how you can make money from that, but then we add our own strategies and end up multiplying what the company provides for us. Benefit 6, have access to a training system that help you duplicate your time and effort. Duplicating your time and effort is the key to a business of this type. People say, well, I don't want to bring more people into a business. That's fine, but then you don't need to be in Wealth Warriors. Just go and sign up in some platforms, and and good luck with that. One of the greatest benefits of being a Wealth Warriors is that you can introduce people, knowing those people are not going to lose money and they're not going to lose their friends. Okay, so now if you believe that and you take that at face value, that paints the whole venture with a completely different hue, because that's the thing that stops most people from bringing their friends into a business. What happens if it goes wrong? Well, we're in charge of this community, so let's not let it go wrong. Let's do it properly so that we can build. And part of this video is part of the training system. I do a Zoom call every Sunday evening at 5 p.m. UK time. So everybody's welcome to that. Bring your friends, and I'll teach them what we're doing. We have a Telegram group where information is available to lots of different information available to people, tips, techniques, information, and so on and so forth. Okay, so there is a training system behind all this that can help you duplicate your time and effort. And if you don't duplicate your time and effort, then it's just the same as having another part-time job. But if a part-time job could meet your needs, then just go and get another part-time job, because this is far too much hard work to just make a small income. Withdraw a few $100s every month. Okay, this is far too much hard work for that. Whereas if you're going to do that much hard work, you may as well have the big rewards of developing a large network of people. So let's have a look at how this works. Let's assume for the purposes of this illustration, we have 4 platforms. In your group, you have 10 people, and all 10 of those people are in all 4 platforms. And you'll see why I've made those assumptions in a minute. You're making $1,000 per month per platform, so that's a total income of $4,000 per month. Let's see what that looks like. In the first platform, there's you. You've introduced Alan, Belle, and Chris. And Alan's introduced all the A's, Bella's introduced all the B's, and Chris has introduced all the C's. And from that, you're receiving $1,000 per month. Okay, they're all receiving money as well. They're all making a little bit of commission, but this is just you we're talking about here. So now what we want to do is to add a second platform to that. So we have platform 2, and in platform 2, everybody signed up in exactly the same positions as they were in platform 1. That's an important part of what we do as Wealth Warriors. If you don't want to do that, then don't be part of Wealth Warriors, because that's one of the keys to succeeding in this venture. Everybody in platform 1 signs up exactly the same people as they did in platform 1. They sign them up again in platform 2. The line of sponsorship remains exactly the same. And I know some people like to think, well, there's a new platform out there. This time I'm going to get in there early and I'm going to introduce all of my upline. Okay, if you do that with Wealth Warriors, it won't work for you. Don't do that. You'll destroy your credibility. You'll destroy your relationships with people, and you won't make any money. Okay, if you follow what I'm saying, you will make money, because you'll just automatically bring in exactly the same people over and over again to all the platforms. So there we are now. We're making $2,000 a month in platform 2, and then we bring in platform 3, and everybody in platforms 1 and 2 sign up in exactly the same positions again in platform 3. Now you're making $3,000 a month. I know there's a lot of assumptions about the different compensation plans and so on, but let's just assume that this is true, that all of the businesses are very similar, and that for that size group you'll make $1,000. So that's $3,000 a month. And then so we add that nicely to our portfolio, and then we introduce platform 4, and everybody signs up in exactly the same positions, and now you're making $4,000 per month. And so that's added to our portfolio, and you run like that for a number of weeks, months, maybe even years. It's not very likely it'll be years, but it might be. But let's say for a few months you're making $4,000 a month, and then something happens. Maybe the regulators move in and they want to shut down platform 4. Maybe platform 4 was a scam, and and it's gone. They've run off with the money. Let's suppose anything happened with platform 4. Okay, so now when platform 4 goes, your income has dropped all the way to $3,000 per month. You've still got platforms 1, 2, and 3. So what's happened to your income? Has it reset to zero? Is everybody upset? No. No, you've just had a minor setback. And in fact, if you've been running this for a few months, then that $3,000 per month has gone up in value anyway. And then you look at the people that you've introduced to the system. Okay, are they upset with you? Have you lost them as friends? No, because they're still part of your other businesses, and they still have their friends. You still have your friends. Everybody's still making money. Okay, so it's not been a complete disaster. It's been a setback. That's all, a minor setback, but it's not ruined everybody's plan for becoming wealthy through this system. So in a few weeks' time, we investigate another platform. And bear in mind, I'm investigating about 15 or so platforms every week. Most of them are rubbish. I've got to be honest with you, most of them are rubbish. I probably find one in 60 or 70 that's worth investigating further. And out of that, probably one out of every 2 or 3 are worth recommending to the whole group. So I'm literally looking at hundreds of these businesses. Most of them are rubbish. So, you're free to do whatever you like, but I would suggest only get involved in those that I at least recommend. Even if I don't do it myself, I put out a little notice saying, this one's quite good, but I'm not doing it myself because of this. Okay, so then you can say, well, I don't care about that, but I'm going to do it myself. Okay, so you're free to do that. It won't be part of Wealth Warriors. It's kind of an extra thing on the side that I offer people. Also, if I investigate a business and it's rubbish, I write a little report about why it's not very good, and I post that. So you get all this extra information for free. But now let's say we introduce platform 4, and so your income goes up to $4,000 per month, and platform 4 now joins our portfolio, and we run like that for for another few months or maybe a few years. Now, I think the limit to the platforms that we can run is probably about 6. I don't think I think 10 would be too many, and I think 3 isn't enough. So we're still building that towards the optimum, which I think will be around 6. But of course, we can always look at that when we get there. And there's kind of a democratic thing. If people say, yes, we'd like to have a 7th one or an 8th one, we can do that. And if there's particularly a great business that we just don't want to miss out on, then we can add that in. But I think 6 is about the ideal number. So, your commitment to Wealth Warriors. Oh, now we get to the scary part. Okay, you're going to be committing to something with Wealth Warriors. Well, if you want the benefits, you've got to meet your commitments. It's as simple as that. If you go to work, if you don't work in your job, then you don't get paid. You don't get paid your salary or your wages. Okay, so your commitment to your job is to turn up and do the work. Their commitment is to give you the benefits, which is basically the money. And you can't get the benefits before the commitments. You just can't. You can't put a log on the fire and say to the fireplace, give me some heat and I'll put a log on. No, you put the log on first, then you get the heat. Okay, it's as simple as that. It's like a natural law. It's a law of nature that if you want the benefits, you've got to meet your commitments. So your commitments, what are they? They're massively scary things. One is that you maintain lines of sponsorship across all platforms. Okay, and it takes a little bit of effort to make that happen. Not a massive amount of effort, but some. Sign up in all the platforms that we adopt. Now, this is a difficult one because sometimes I present a platform and people say, I don't like the look of it. Doesn't matter. Sign up in it anyway. Make a minimum payment anyway. And then if you don't want to spread your wealthy your investment money evenly across all platforms, that's fine. But just sign up in it for the minimum amount. Get your personally introduced people to do the same. Support your own people by learning about all of the platforms that we adopt, and support and encourage all other wealth warriors. Okay, very, very simple. That's it. That's your commitment. And if you look at it, it's actually not a commitment to me. It's a commitment to yourself and to your business, to your future generations, and to your future income. It's not a commitment to me, because if I'm going to do that anyway, and I'm going to be wealthy from this system, if you don't want to do that yourself, that's fine. Okay, but if you do want to have the benefits, you've got to meet the commitments. That's all I'm saying. So the criteria for adopting a platform, it must be available in the whole world. And sometimes we see businesses excluded in Iran or the US or different territories, different places. Now, bear in mind, there are certain places in the world where we won't want to do business right now. They're being controlled by dictatorships or communist regimes, or there's too much corruption or whatever. So we don't want to take our businesses there. But that won't last forever. Nothing lasts forever. The platform must have a unilevel compensation plan. None of this binary or forced matrix or anything else. Okay, it's got to be a unilevel compensation plan. People must be able to join for free or get involved in a passive income program for a very low entry cost, i.e. $100. Now, the reason we want all those three is because the combination of all three of them means we can maintain the lines of sponsorship across all platforms. If we had a business where it wasn't available, for example, in the United States, then all of our people that are already signed up in our original platforms that are in the United States wouldn't be able to sign up in this new platform. So therefore, we can't use a platform if it's not available to everybody in the world. Okay. It must be based on real world applications, not just a money game or a shell game. Again, there's a lot of these businesses, a proliferation of them now, where you get in, you put some money into a pot that's going to be lent to somebody, okay, with the promise that when in 3 weeks' time, everybody that gets in below you is going to give you some money, and you're going to make 72 times your initial investment, and so on. Okay, that's just a Ponzi scheme, or it's an airplane scheme, more correctly speaking. And look out for it, because it means that you're only being paid not by what the company's doing with your money. You're being paid by other people coming in behind you and paying some money into the system. That's what's being paid that's what's being used to give you profits. Okay, so it's not a real world application. It's just a money game. I would personally, I would suggest don't get involved in any of those. Excuse me, simply because you sleep better at nights. The first people in will make some money, and if you want to do that, get in, make some money. But just know that you're the one who's actually scamming the people coming behind you. We're going to put some money in. Eventually, the whole thing's going to go bust, and people are going to say, "Oh, I lost money doing that." Okay, but the fact is, they lost money because you've got some money. That's up to it's up to you. If you can live with that, that's fine. Personally, I'd rather not ask that question. I'd rather just avoid it completely. More criteria: we must be able to verify the company's legal status and its involvement in real world activities. Okay, so if it's trading, let's see the trading results. If they're selling things, let's see the order book. Let's see, how many of them are being sold. If it's arbitrage, let's see where the money comes from and where it goes. Okay, we're looking at something. Excuse me. We're looking at something right now that might be added to the portfolio in the next week or so, and I'm going to be meeting up with some of the representatives of the company in the next few days, so that I can get a lot of these questions answered. Who are they? Are they a legal company? Is it real? With how much is the investment fund? How many traders have they got? Meet the CEO. All these sorts of things. Okay, so we've got to be able to verify their legal status. If possible, meet the CEO, and the compensation plan must be viable and sustainable. I looked at a business about an hour ago, and these people were planning to give you 10.5% per day on your money. Clearly, that's not viable and it's not sustainable. 10.5%, sorry, 10.05% per day is not sustainable. A sustainable rate, if you've got AI and good traders and scalp trading, maybe intraday trading, very short time scales. What I'm saying is swing trading. Then maybe you're looking at 0.75% a day. 1% is pushing it. 10% per day is ridiculous, and that is not a real company. It's not a real trading system. So that's it. That's out the window because the compensation plan is not sustainable. The membership of Wealth Warriors must all be able to get behind the project. So there are certain things about working with a group, with a community, that you want everybody to join you in every single thing you do. Therefore, you can't ask them to join things that they would object to, maybe morally or spiritually or emotionally or financially. So we don't have businesses where it costs $20,000 to get involved because not everybody could do that. We need to keep it so that everybody can do everything within Wealth Warriors. And so we don't get involved in gambling or online sports betting or anything like that. No money lending. Okay, so they're the criteria for adopting a platform. The platforms we've adopted so far are Property Robots, which is crowdfunding the manufacture of pre-sold house printing robots, and a company called Trade Like Crazy. It's real cryptocurrency trading with verifiable results that are published every single day. So you can see on their website, you can see the trades that have been taken, the results that were achieved, and it's independently verified by a company called Bybit. Okay, Property Robots, there are real robots. There's a real manufacturing plant in Manchester. There's some great new videos out about the first robots that they've just manufactured, or sorry, just assembled. And they have orders for something like almost $500 million worth of robots. Okay, so that's they've been paid half of that amount up front. So they're good, solid companies operating in the real world activities where there's plenty of money to be made. So quick overview of Property Robots. You invest in plans between $100 and $100,000. It goes something like $100, $250, $500, $1,000, $2,500, and so on. So you just invest that much money. Depending on whether you select a fixed term plan or a flexible term plan, your plans double in 168 days or they double in 252 days. Now, the difference is that on the 252-day plan, you receive your profit every single day and you can withdraw it every single day. For the 168 days, then you have to wait until the end of the plan and then you get back your $100 plus all of your profit. Well, sorry, you get back double the money you put in. So with the 168 days fixed term plans, you can 4x your money every year. Now there's a huge housing shortage at the moment, so these Property Robots, we're going to be selling them for maybe 25 years, maybe even more. Okay, so we have time to build up. If you do 4x your money this year and 4x your money next year and 4x your money the year after, okay, you can turn a very modest income within 3 years into a very nice sum of money. If you just want that as a nest egg, if you want it as an income, then you can separate it out. You take some profit and reinvest some money. Okay, there's strategies I can teach you how to do that. But 4xing your money every year is not to be sniffed at, and there's very little risk because these robots have already been pre-sold, and it's an industry that's going to be around for the next 20 years at least, maybe 30 years, maybe even more. So profits return to your back office daily for the flexible term plans, and it can be withdrawn at any time. You compound passive earnings by buying more plans with your profit. So it's not done automatically. When you've got some profit, you then buy another package. You can also, by introducing people, you get commissions, and you can use that commissions to buy some more packages. So that's all how to compound. Of course, you can with the commissions, you can withdraw that as well. And I suggest that you do withdraw your money until you've recovered your initial outlay. You introduce others for commissions, and over a period of time, you can build up a network of people, and you can achieve one-off rank bonuses of between $250, and there's about 15 different levels. The top level being $4 million, a one-off payment of $4 million. So let's suppose it takes you 10 years to do that. Now, let's suppose it takes you 20 years to do that. And in 20 years' time, you qualify for that $4 million. Where else are you going to get a $4 million commission? Or $4 million, what's the word the bankers use? A bonus, a $4 million bonus. Okay, if we're not in banking, we're probably never going to get a $4 million bonus. So even if it takes us 10 years to do this, it's still worth doing. You're not going to do that in a year or 2 years, but you can certainly do it in 10. The second platform is Trade Like Crazy. The company has a team of 20 traders. All results are verifiable in the back office through Bybit. Average monthly earnings over the last 12 months have been 15 to 30%. And in fact, my experience of having been involved in this now a couple of months is three quarters of a percent per day, which is about right in the middle of that 15 to 30%. It's about 21%. And you can buy a package for $20, $50, $100, $250, $500, all the way up to $100,000. And whatever package you buy, you get that 0.75% from the following day, from the second day. You can withdraw your profit every day, or you can reinvest some or all of the profit. Just a little tip with that is let's suppose you've got $200 profit and you want to reinvest $100 and you want to withdraw $100, reinvest the $100 first because that takes about 1/10 of a second, and then withdraw your $100. If you do the withdrawal first, even though it's not for the full amount, then you will the system won't let you have a second withdrawal or second attempt at withdrawal until that withdrawal has been processed. So I'm not sure if that makes sense, but if you do the repurchase first of all and then do the withdrawal, you can get it all done within a few seconds. If you try to do the withdrawal first, then you have to come back later after you've received your withdrawal and then do the repurchase. Just a little tip. Again, there's no compounding with this. You need to buy more packages with profits to compound your passive income. And you can buy packages with your commissions from introducing other people, or you can withdraw those commissions. Compensation plan for introducing others from 15 levels. So there's a nice depth to this. You can earn 15 levels deep, and you get matching bonuses from the first 5 levels. And when this first started happening to me, I didn't have a clue what was going on, but it was so exciting. I was getting my own earnings. I was getting commissions from other people. I was getting matching bonuses, and I just thought it was wonderful, which of course it is. There's also a program to get you some shiny, I call them shiny things. So you get some shiny things. When you achieve certain criteria, you'll be offered an iPhone. At a higher level, you'll be offered a MacBook. And if you don't want any of these things, you just take the cash equivalent. They'll always tell you what the cash equivalent is. I think the cash equivalent of an iPhone is $1,500. The cash equivalent of a MacBook is about $3,000. There are 2 watches in the setup. One of them's a Rolex. Sorry, I can't remember the other one. But one's worth about $20,000 and one's worth about $60,000. And then there's 2 cars as well. There's the RS, an Audi RS. If you don't want that, you can have, I think it's $100,000 in cash. If you don't want the Lamborghini, you can have $350,000 in cash. So I'm quite happy for people to either take the shiny things or take the cash. I'm more than happy to help people achieve that. So back to Wealth Warriors. We run a Telegram group. Make sure you upload ads to that group so that you can keep up to date with changes. But in order to be part of the Wealth Warriors group, you need to have registered in both of those platforms. Okay, and I'll cover that in just a few seconds. We hold a Zoom call every Sunday, 8 p.m., not 5 p.m. UTC, it's 8 p.m. UK time, regardless of time zone changes, it's 8 p.m. UK time. Attend yourself and bring new people to make sure your people attend. It's a shortcut to fast growth. If you want to grow things fast, then don't just tell people what to do, show them what to do. Okay? Attend the Zoom calls of the platforms. Their schedule is published in the Telegram group. Take your people with you. It's the best way to learn. Wealth Warriors don't do those presentations. We do the Wealth Warriors presentations, but we will publish the list or the schedule of those Zoom calls. What do you do now? Get the referral links for all the platforms from the person who invited you to this presentation or sent you the link to this video. So you want their referral links. And it's easy now because right now we only have 2, so it's nice and easy to do. Register in all the opportunities and make a note of your referral links. Pass these links on to your existing frontline members or to people that you invite to see this presentation. Make a minimum payment into all opportunities. If you can't do this, select the project that interests you the most and make minimum payments to get that platform started. So over a period of time, you want to have made an equal size investment into all of the platforms that we have. Okay, but that's not where you start. If you can, then start there. But if you can't, if you can only fund one, then start with the first one and fund that. Build up some more money for some profits, commissions, and so on, and start a second one. You can, with all of these platforms, you can earn money from commissions by introducing other people before you actually put any money into your own passive business side. Okay, so you can join, introduce people, make commissions, and then put that money back in to the investment program. Ask your introducer to be added to the Wealth Warriors Telegram group. Once you're added to that, you can add your people. Attend a Zoom call or watch the video for each platform that you have added funds to your account. And we have a Zoom call for Property Robots every single weekday, and we have a Zoom call for Trade Like Crazy every single weekday. So it should be easy to get on there and watch a video for each of those 2 platforms. As new platforms are added, then we just go back through the motions and make sure to get the referral link of your upline, join as quickly as possible. If you have a group that's 20 deep, you don't want people taking 4 weeks at the bottom of the group to get hold of their upline's link, because they'll get frustrated and they'll go and get a link from somebody else, which destroys their whole part of your community. So make sure and get the referral link and join as quickly as possible. Pass your referral link to your existing team as quickly as possible and get on a presentation for that new platform as soon as possible. So there's a little bit of urgency, but the urgency isn't to try and beat your upline to the punch and get into something before them. It's to just make sure the whole thing flows smoothly. So if you want to get a Wealth Warriors landing page, sign up for a free account with System.io and then import my funnel and email campaign from that address. Then go to the email campaign and change my referral links for your referral links within those emails. Okay, so nice and easy to do, and all you do then is send the link out to the landing page. People will read it, they'll either like what we're doing or they won't like what we're doing, and they'll sign up. You'll then have a permanent record of the fact they signed up, and they'll also receive the referral links for your business. So nice and easy. And so with Trade Like Crazy, they're just about to introduce a landing page that you will have access to your own landing page. And I think Property Robots will be doing something similar fairly soon. There'll soon be Property Robots. Yeah, we've covered that. We're building a solid foundation on which we can base our financial futures. We only want to work with companies that are in it for the long term. We only want to work with companies that are above board, because I very often get people who say, well, why aren't we working with this company? Why aren't we working with that company? And if people are being a little bit reluctant to answer my questions, then we don't have to work with them. You see, we don't have to work with every single platform just because they are making payments, just because they are making money for their people. Okay, you can go and join those yourself. Not all businesses are suitable for Wealth Warriors, but those that are, we will bring them into the company. They need to be above board and in it for the long term. We want to build a large asset, which in turn will deliver us a large income, whatever that asset is. And again, we can teach you strategies of how to build up the asset and then at what stage to start taking an income from it. Only platforms that meet our rigorous criteria are even considered. And this is the important part. I've tried to stress it a little bit, but I should have actually made more of it when I put this presentation together. We want to apply our rules to this industry to achieve our outcomes, not be at the mercy of any one company. That's an absolutely critical part of Wealth Warriors. This is our rules, this is our community, this is our setup. We're not going to be dictated to by any platform or any other company. We're running this community for the benefit of the community, not for the benefit of the platforms. If they benefit as well, brilliant. But we're more interested in the benefit of the community. It's a community-centric operation, not a platform-centric operation. I don't care about the platforms. Okay, as long as we have a few, 3, 4, 5 that we can rely on over a period of time, I don't care. They can come, they can go. It doesn't matter. It's the community that's the important part. Finally, it's important to remain safe on the internet and in the world of online opportunities at all times. Do not share your password or other credentials with anyone. Where it's available, set up your 2FA on your accounts. If you don't know what this is or how to do it, just Google 2FA. There's no need to phone your upline and say, how do I do this 2FA? Google knows all this stuff. Okay, so just follow that. Back up your passwords and your 2FA codes in a secure location. Now that's important. Okay, if you have a safe, put it in the safe. Make sure the executors of your will or your beneficiaries have access to this information in the event of your death. It might not even be death. It might be, power of attorney or power of a living will or something like that. Okay, make sure the people who will look after you if things go wrong know that you have this big stash of Bitcoin somewhere and how they can access it. Because wouldn't it be a shame to spend a few years now building up a big stash of Bitcoin, and then when something happens to you, nobody even knows you have it, let alone how to access it. So make sure that information is available to the people the people who will need to know when they will need to know it. So welcome to Wealth Warriors, financial freedom fighters, and I'm sure you can see from what I've just said that we are you can see why I think of us as being the band of rebels that have the principles. We have right on our side. We have the idea that we're fighting against huge powers that are arrayed against us, and that we're here to win the fight by fair means and foul, because to lose the fight doesn't bear thinking about. It means that there'll be so many more millions of people controlled by forces beyond their control, rather than people taking charge of their own futures, the futures of their own family, their own communities, and so on. And so I really do see us as freedom fighters. So I'm just going to show you very quickly now. I'm going to see if I can drag over here a spreadsheet. And this is a spreadsheet about just one of the platforms. And this is an example of how I would help people understand what they've got their hands on. I'll just get it to the right size if I can. There we go. So this spreadsheet is for two different strategies: Trade Like Crazy 1 and Trade Like Crazy 2. And what we're saying here is that if we put $1,000 in, our average weekly trading profit is 4.5%, which means every week we earn on our $1,000 we earn $45. So we have this much money at the end of the first week, so $45 per week, yes. So then we let that roll, and we earn a bit more money now, so we let that roll and we earn even more money. So every time this 4.5% is going up in real terms, in real dollar amounts. So you can see that. So this strategy is to make a deposit amount and let it run for 2 years. And every time the plan matures, buy more plans with all of your profit. So with Trade Like Crazy, you put in $1,000. That's going to mature. That's going to finish when you've earned $3,000. So then what you do is you take your $3,000 and buy another $3,000 worth of plans. So it takes you down to here. It takes you 24 weeks to get to the point where you can, in fact, 25 weeks. You've quadrupled your money. I apologize. You've tripled your money, and so you start back here with $3,005. and so you continue with that until it's tripled, which will be $9,000. So it took you 25 weeks to it took you 25 weeks to get to from 1,000 to 3,000, and now it's taking you another 25 weeks to get to 9,000. So then you reinvest the 9,000, and when it's 27,000, then you will the plan would have stopped. So now we are 74 weeks now. So that's 9 months. 1,000 is now worth 25, and then 3 times that is 75,000. So within a year, we've turned our $1,000 into $75,000. Okay, and you can carry on with this. I've put it up to 104 weeks, but you can get this spreadsheet and you can just keep plowing that on. But at some point, you want to say, well, okay, I've got $74,000. I'm actually not going to reinvest all of it. I'm going to take a little chunk of money out, and maybe I'll take $4,000 out now. Maybe every 4 weeks you take $4,000 out, or maybe every week you take $1,000 out. Okay, so this, what would happen after this is it continues to grow, but it will grow at a faster and faster rate, but not as fast as if you hadn't taken any money out. But of course, bear in mind, the only real money in all of this is the money that you've taken out and put in your wallet. If it's still in this system, then it's still vulnerable. So you don't want to take out too much, because if you start taking out too much, let's suppose you start taking out every time you're making $2,000 a week, you take $1,000. That means that it will grow very, very slowly from this point onwards. So therefore, it will take you a long time to build up then to this 10,000, 100,000, or whatever. Okay, so that's the strategy. Strategy one: make a deposit, let it run for 2 years, and every time the plan matures, buy more plans with all of your profit. The second strategy is every time you accrue enough every time you accrue enough money, purchase as many new plans as you can get for your money. Now the plans start at $100, so every time you get $100, you can. The plans start at $20, so every time you get to $20, you can buy another plan. So here we start with, let's start with $1,000 again to give a fair comparison. Okay. So we've got this extra column here now called additional plans. So in week one, we've earned $45, so we can buy 2 new $20 plans. So now we earn profit on both of these. So you get more profit with which you can buy some more plans. You can buy a $50 plan now. And the following week you get more money, so you buy another $50 plan. And up here you can buy 3 $20 plans. And here you can buy a 50 and a 20. And then $100 plan, $100 plan, 110. So that'll be a 50 and 50 and 3 $20 plans. Okay, so you just have to, you'll get used to thinking like this. And it tells you here after one year you've got an ROI of 1,168 on your initial $1,000, because you've got $11,000. And at the end of week 2, you've got 12,729%. Okay, you've got a fund there of $127,000, earning you 4.5% per week, roughly. Okay, so at this point, you can quite easily be taking $1,000 a week out, $2,000 a week out, and this would still continue to grow. It's sustainable. As long as you're not taking out more than $5,210, this will continue to grow. Okay, so in fact, you could do that. You could say, well, I'm going to take $5,000 every single week, and your income would stay at this level, at the level that can provide you with $5,000 a week. And let me tell you something about $20,000 a month income is very, very difficult to tell the difference between somebody who's a multimillionaire and somebody who's earning $20,000 a month just by looking at their lifestyle. Whether somebody's a multimillionaire or whether somebody's earning $20,000 a month, you wouldn't be able to notice the difference. They would eat in the same restaurants, they would drive the same cars, they would go on the same holidays. They might not have such nice assets. They might not actually own the private jet, but they could certainly fly on the private. They could charter a private jet. They might not own the yacht, but they can charter a private yacht. Okay, so you can live a millionaire lifestyle 2 years from today with with the second strategy here. And there are other strategies we can develop. These are just the first two I thought of off the top of my head. And I wanted to use that as an example of how we can take what the company gives us, apply our own strategy, and do so much more than the company thinks we're going to do. Okay, so that's it for me. I'm going to close this down. Don't save that. And go back to the Wealth Warriors Financial Freedom Fighters. So hopefully you found this useful. You know what to do. Get hold of the person who sent you the link to this video. Get their referral links. Get the links from their landing page. Find out a little bit more about Wealth Warriors if you want to. Or just take our word for it that we're not going to be promoting rubbish platforms. I'm not going to do this just for the fun of it. I want platforms that are going to be here for the long term. I want Wealth Warriors to be here for the long term. And if you're the right sort of person, I want you to be with us in Wealth Warriors for the long term. So that's it. Thank you for listening. If you like this video, please like, subscribe to my channel so that this information gets out to more and more people. And I'll look forward to meeting you at some point. God bless.
I want to see you win. I want to see you absolutely smash every single dream you have. I want to see you overcome all of the barriers you face, and I want to see you succeed. I'm your biggest fan, your top supporter, and I'll be with you every single step of the way. You're destined for greatness, with or without me, and I want to see you achieve. Your potential is limitless, and your determination is inspiring. Keep striving for your goals, and I'll continue to cheer you on.